The skill level of martial arts in movies today is pretty amazing. There was a time that only martial arts people could do stunts in movies. And today, with with training and choreography that you have, and the technology that you have, you can take an actor or an actress and literally make them look like they're on a master or level. Is there still, though, a lot of work that you have to put in to that actor and actress to have that look and feel where they're really credible? Because you've done an amazing job with so many of the films that you've done.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. It used to be, we now call it old school. Like Mad Max is a good example. Did the fight coordinating on Mad Max. We would call it old school in that every stunt you saw in Mad Max, sure, the special effects and visual effects and everything, but every stunt was a real person in a vehicle risking their lives. And remember the old days, we did all our own fight scenes and everything. I mean, to think of having a double was unheard of. Nowadays, and then it went to the fact that a lot of these films, they use facial replacement. They can actually have an actor or an actress, in a fight scene, and have the stunt double do the whole fight and basically just replace the stunt double's fight with the actor's face,
Wow.
Which is amazing. So it got to where you're almost making stunt people obsolete in that sense, except that they had to be the one doing the action. Now, cut to now, I work with Guy Norris, no relation to Chuck, worked with Guy for 25 years. Our whole push with X-Men, with Ghost in the Shell, with Scarlet and Suicide Squad, is that we say to the actor, we want you to do at least 80% of your own fights. Why? Because first of all, there's no way a stunt double will ever move the way you do, and you're the Academy Award-winning actors, whether it's Will Smith or Margot Robbie or whatever, you bring the drama to the fight. And this is based on, and I would say to Scarlett or Margot, I'd rather make the fight a little more basic, but have you do most of it, which we achieved. Then the camera can stay on your face. And as you know, the difference nowadays is that there's so much drama within a fight. And, when we did films, we knew that if you had 6 fight scenes and no drama, you could still sell the thing. Now the drama, the fights are so much a part of the story. And the emotion that's in a fight, people don't realize. As we know, you go in, the first time you get hit in the face, you're either going to be scared shitless, you're going to be angry or whatever. There is an emotion which you can't get from a stunt double because you can't stay on their face, right? The actor you can be in the middle of a gunfight, and the emotional journey that a good actor takes you on, like a Scarlett or a Margot, is incredible, So now the audience aren't sort of dipping out going, oh, this is just a movie. They're following the camera, not through just the dramatic dialogue scenes, but through the action scenes. So I think it's going back in a sort of a way to old school, even though the sophistication of special effects, visual effects, and all of that sort of stuff has taken it to a different level. The fact that we're trying now to train the actors, which takes a bit of work because you need to get with them a couple of months before the shoot, give them the tools they're going to need for the particular fight and the character, get them up to level, and then, again, have them do, like Scarlett did probably 90% of all her own action in Ghost in the Shell, and she loved it, And I think you see the results. And finally, for me, I'd rather have an actor, having been in that sort of real world of fights are never clean. They're never just perfect, And I think sometimes you can get fights that look too, what I call clinical. You get an actor and you give him skills, it's going to be a little untied, a little rough. For me, that makes it much more believable. So that's the job. Spend some time with them, go to their house, teach them the punches, what a kick is, what a back kick is, and all this, and keep it pertinent to that character skill set. But then when you get on the set and you do the choreography, they've already got the tools, you teach them the choreography, and of course, yes, you're going to need stunt doubles at certain points. But that's what we're trying to do. I'm not sure whether all stunt groups will do that, but that's our push,
Today, when you see, high-level actors, Denzel, Liam Neeson, take on multiple opponents in movies, with just really high-level skill, when you're working with actors in movies, does the choreography, does a fight choreography start with what can the actor do and what does he look like doing, or does the actor have to adhere to the choreography that you're giving them?
For me, the first question I ask is, what are you good at? And you know, it doesn't take long to be able to tell the skill set of an actor. Let me throw a couple of kicks, see if you can do this, see how they punch and everything. So you get to assess their ability and everything. And for me, I would then design a fight more around what they're capable of, you know. And you'd get a Scarlet and they say, look, if, you know, I won't sort of sugarcoat things. If a kick looks like shit, we'll cut it out.
Yeah.
Because we would always say, and you know, that fight scenes and fight moves are just like notes of music. You know, they're individual things. If something's not working, just take it out, recompose it. Because it's far more effective to have the actor comfortable with the move they're trying to do than trying to get them to do something that looks really tricky and everything, but they've got no hope of actually pulling off. So that's absolutely part of it, assessing what their skill set is. And by the way, you know, where some of the movies I've been working on, I'm blessed, is to have, and again, I keep using the name Scarlett or Will Smith or Margot Robbie, they have such an incredible level of excellence that they expect of themselves, that they totally commit. That's why their careers are
Right.
what they are. And you know, you can tell when you're training somebody that's told they have to do the training, as opposed to somebody that, I want to be the best at
Right.
this. I want to portray this character 100% on screen. That level of commitment is gold, because you can push them to the absolute limit when you know, again, they just desire or expect so much of themselves.
Okay, final question. I'm going to totally put you on the spot. You don't know I'm asking you this question. You have fought Chuck Norris, Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung. You have fought literally the who's who of every famous martial artist and champion in the world in a movie.
And being beaten up.
And been beaten up. If you had to choose who your favorite person was that you have fought in a motion picture, could you hone it in on one or two? And again, I don't want to put anyone down because they were all amazing, but a personal favorite.
Well, you know, that has to be Chuck, just because I've known Chuck since '79, started training with him at his house, you know, before I even got into movies. We did Octagon in 1979. And having trained every morning with Chuck, we just knew each other so well. I knew his timing, I knew his speed. So as far as an enjoyable process of knowing, you know, the medium you're in, when the person you're in was great. And being such good friends and everything, that was always fun. We could always work so well together. Now, having said that, you go to Hong Kong and you do a movie with Jackie or Sammo Hung, that's a whole other ball game. But the whole reason for that is I don't know them and I don't know their styles, and the way the fight scenes were put together in those Hong Kong movies was so radically different to the US. You know, in the US you have a master scene. You would rehearse a whole fight, you'd shoot the whole thing in a master, you'd do coverage. Over there's no such thing as a master. They'd make all the moves up as you went through the fight. You never knew what you were going to do next. You basically rehearse on camera and then you do it as many times as it took to get the end result. And for me, it was very different timing, very different kind of techniques. So that was different, a lot more stressful for me than, again, working with someone like Chuck, whose style I understood. We understood each other, can work together. That's why I say it was enjoyable, not just because he was a friend, but it was a familiar kind of medium, you know, and tool set that I was in. But working with Sammo or Yinbil or somebody like that, again, it's like, oh my God, you know. And a totally different style. You know, the Hong Kong style of fighting was more tricked up, you know, very rudimentary cable pulls and everything like that. Fun after the fact. I always used to go after, because we didn't see a lot of what was being shot. And you'd go and watch something like City Hunter, and it was just like, oh my God, this is hilarious. Because you were more of a caricature, you know, it was a whole different thing. And so fun in a different way, but afterwards. People always used to say to me, it must have been so much fun working with Jackie and Sammo Hung. It's like, no. Because it's a bit like a comedian. People always think comedians are funny all the time. Well, they're not. That's what they do. That's their business. Someone like Jackie, you know, that's his business. He is so businesslike on set He wants perfection. Sammo Hung, they want perfection. So as a result, it's stressful because they want the best thing out of you for their movie. So over and over and over, 18-hour days, 7 days a week, different thing. But anyway, I hope that answers your question. As I said, I love Chuck. Chuck was best man at my wedding, which is cool. And we're still friends like 40 years later, and that's pretty cool too.
And the snake bit Chuck, and after 3 days of intense pain and misery.
And Chuck doesn't write books. The
snake
words
died.
rearrange themselves out of fear.